Hey everyone, Terrence here from TGG Gaming. Today we're going to be profiling a Invoked Dogmatika deck. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Hey YouTube, it's me, Nick, and like I said, I'm showing my Invoked Dogmatika build that I've been doing fairly well with at locals. I won quite a few locals and then only dropped a few matches with it here and there, mainly because of my own mistakes. The deck works pretty well. It's fairly consistent. It has pretty decent matchups against like a lot of the upcoming like new meta decks like Zoo and Virtual World, and yeah, just get right into it. So let's start off like the main like core engine pieces. Played 3 Alistair, 3 Ecclesia, and the 3 Nadir Servant, and the 3 Meltdown to Terraforming. I've thought about cutting like these to like maybe 2, but because like Droll's like somewhat relevant like here and there on the format, but like you just want to see like both your engines together like every game as much as possible, so you want to like max out on like the main ways to like get to them, and they're just like the best cards in the deck anyway. Especially this card is like the whole reason I play the deck. This card is busted. And yeah, and then 2 Fleur-de-Lis. I've contemplating cutting this to 1 because it can be a brick, but it's usually how you push for game, and like its pseudo hand trap effect like comes up a lot, and it's usually like the main card I search for at like the end of my turn. And the 1 Maximus, I'm not sure if I really like this card. It's just sort of necessary right now because combo decks are so prevalent, so it helps you get to like your window plays, which we'll discuss later. And it's really good going second because you can send like the, and just however you pronounce it, to like pop cards. It just has like a lot of utility. And hand traps, I play 3 Gamma and Driver, 3 Ash, and 3 Imperm. These are just like the most versatile hand traps. They're good against like every deck this format, and this is good. I play the Omega in the extra deck, so you can like make that sometimes, and it's just like the most consistent, I guess, high impact hand trap because it negates and destroys. And this just to stop like floodgate monsters like Window in the Mirror or VFD, which is pretty common, and it just hits like everything. Spells, 2 Invocation. You really need 1, but I play Desire, so like you don't really want to banish it because then your whole Invoke side is just dead. And like the second one can come up like if your Alistair gets hand trapped, I guess, and you like draw, which usually isn't good, but I guess in that case it is. It just helps to like grind, I guess. I play Upstart just for consistency. And 3 Desires. I know a lot of people like don't like playing 3, but just speaking mathematically, it's always the correct to play 3 if you do play it, just because like you want to see it. It's like the best consistency card in like the game right now. Yeah. I play 3 Tactics because like this deck is probably the most susceptible to hand traps compared to like other decks, so this just helps you like I guess play through them, because like this card or this deck like really plays off of card advantage, so like this helps you just keep you over the edge in that aspect. Like ripping a card out of your hand and like knowing what cards your opponent has in hand is really powerful, or if you need to you can draw. But I usually use like the hand effect for your opponent, or even like the take effect, the change a hard one. And yeah, it's a good card. I know it's expensive, but it's really necessary. And then 3 Droplets. Yeah, this isn't a budget deck. It's really good right now against like the Zoo and Virtual World decks because you can just chain it to like the Zeus or the VFD, so you can actually play the game. And even good going first because it's like an impermanence, you can just set it and then negate anything they have against you. And then the Schism for the Shadal package. Card's busted. It's basically an auto win when you activate it. And then 1 Punishment. This card sucks. I don't care what anyone says. This card is terrible. It is not a starter card, and it locks you out of your extra deck longer than the other Dogmatika cards, which is really bad. Because like the Invoke part is probably the strongest part of the deck. So like not being able to access that, like, really sucks sometimes. Like I barely even search for this card. Most games I win, I don't even like see this card ever. I only like search for it if I have to, if I have like no other lines of play. And like whenever I banish off Desires, I honestly don't really care. Like this card is super overrated. Just it's bad, but it's good enough to warrant a spot in the deck because it's so accessible. But you don't want to play more than one. And the extra deck, the Shadal package, the Window, Construct, App Cologne. These cards are busted. You may just use these to get to this, and when you summon it, TGG game. I pay 1 Titanclad. You only really need one. I've tried to, like when I first started playing the deck, and it never comes up. And like I said, I play the Omega, so if like you do need it, you can just shuffle it back. I play for the Invokes, 2 Makaba, Purgatrio, and however you pronounce this. Makaba is just Makaba. It's like the best Invoke always, and like 2 helps in the grind game. Purgatrio because I see a lot of people cutting this, but like it just wins you so many games. Like especially ones you probably shouldn't win, you can just clear boards, and like it does tons of damage. Like there's really nothing you could cut that's better than this. Like I think you have to play it. And this just it has a lot of utility. You can like pop cards and like beat over things. And yeah. And 2 of however you say this guy. Oh, he's really good because obviously, like I said, Nadir Servant send in, pop a card, just gain tons of advantage. Like, yeah, you can shuffle it back with Omega if you want to play just one, but like this card comes up so much, like you just always want to have access to it. And the Omega, this is why you can afford to play one of like Punishment or the Titanclad, just because like you can send this like mid to late game and just shuffle anything you need back and then search for it. And like the niche situations where you actually activate Gamma on your turn, you can actually summon this and rip a card off if you want, or just add back your banished resources. It doesn't come up too often, but it's there. If you play the games, you might as well just play it. Nice sort of a tech card. Cyber Dragon Nova. This is good in the mirror match for if they don't know you're playing, so they Maximus you. So you can send this and actually summon a Makaba on their turn, just like so you don't get destroyed by them. Because usually when they Maximus you, send like a inst, and then you can send this, so you can pop a card and then also have a negate for your turn, just to be able to like play through anything they set up on their turn, and just like gain like tons of advantage from like their advantage, so like evens out the game a bit more. And the Almirage and the Security Gardener for the Invokes, obviously. 1 card Makamba is nice. And this is just sort of like a flex spot in the deck. It's mainly just like if you tactic somebody's monster, like a Dragoon, and like you have no way to get rid of it, so you can just link off into a link 2. And I think this is the best one because I play Gamma, so like in these situations it actually comes up and I have like a Gamma in hand, I can actually use it with having monsters on field. This could really be like anything, including the Nova, because like mirror matches aren't too common. Like one thing I've played in the past and I'm reconsidering is like the Selene access code package. Like because you play a bunch of spellcasters like Ecclesia and Alistair, so you can just summon the Selene and then make access code and just like pop cards and then go for game. Sort of up to you. I've been liking this card. This doesn't come up too often because there aren't too many mirror matches, so I might switch back, but yeah, there are options. Side deck. 3 Nibiru, because you have to play it either in your main or your side deck because there's so many combo decks. 3 Lancia, same as Nibiru. And also like Dino, and it's really good against Virtual World because you have to banish a lot to actually play. And 2 Droll, just because not enough space in the side deck. And I'm not sure if I really like this card this format. But it's really good against the mirror match and Dragon Link if their hand isn't too great, so they can't get to a tuner. And yeah. And then 1 Pangertops, this card's busted. Please bring her back. I played 3 Cosmics. This is the only like form of spell and trap removal that I play in either the main or the side, because I don't really like Lightning Storm because there isn't really like much like mass back row removal, you need it's usually just like 1 or 2 cards. Like in this deck, like the Schism, or in the virtual world, the Trap, whatever they play. Like you just want things that are like really reactive instead of just like mass, because there's a lot that you need. And like if you play Lightning Storm, things just chain stuff to it, like the Schism, and still summon a wind, and you can't really do anything about that. Well, this, like, you can actually chain the things and like get rid of them. And then 3 judgments for going first, because like I said, this deck is probably the most like relevant deck, I guess, that's susceptible to hand traps. So you can just side this thing going first, so you still have like interruptions, I guess. And if they play like Lightning Storm or like anything against you, you can negate it, so you still have like Schism or Punch for anything. And yeah,
All right.
that's everything.
Perfect. Well, thanks for the profile, and we'll be sure to get you on some feature matches so you can see how this deck really works.
All right, deuces.